If you're watching this video, you probably already know the feeling. You know the one where you finish talking to certain people and suddenly you feel completely drained. Or you're in the middle of talking to them and you feel completely drained. They've managed to suck the life force energy out of you. Well, guess what? As an empath, that always happens to me, even when people don't mean to do it. They do it anyways. So in today's video, we're going to talk about energy vampires in the workplace and how I go about protecting my peace from these draining ass people. So like I said, if you're someone who's very susceptible to other people's energies and empath, and I know many of y'all watching this probably are, I've had to learn the hard way that not everybody deserves access to your peace or even access to your energy. And the real part about it is that some people will drain you dry out of necessity for them, and some people will drain you dry only because you allowed them to do so. So today I'm going to break down the 5 biggest warning signs that you're probably dealing with a workplace/office space energy vampire. And yes, this can happen in remote work. Plus, I'm going to give you what you can actually do without getting fired. And the first one is a big one. They're always complaining, but they never seem to have solutions to anything. Everybody knows one of these types of people. It's not a fault that's their own. It's just some people are not solution-oriented naturally. So every conversation is about a terrible life event or how unfair their workload is compared to somebody else or how much they hate to be on this specific project with this specific person, how much they naturally hate to be in their own world. And the kicker is, whenever you try to offer advice or solutions, what do? They shut it down. It's like they don't want help, they just want an audience. I have had coworkers and friends like this several times who will literally corner me either in the workplace or on the phone after work for vast amounts of times out of my day just to talk about the same problems that we all experience every day, only to be shut down whenever I offer them solutions that have helped me with the exact same problems. And I'd be sitting there just trying to be helpful and giving suggestions and solutions, but they would just have any and every excuse as to why none of that would work. When I'm trying to explain to them, like, girl, I'm not just some person telling you this. I have a gift in this area, but even that wouldn't work. Then that's when I realized this type of behavior is just innate to certain people, but it's also definitely not good either. Number 2 is the one who comes to you with all of this fictitious, made-up drama. They thrive on gossip and what my mom calls, they entertain a lot of BS, meaning they kind of hide behind the fact that, hey, I'm not the one coming up with the gossip. But if you are the one entertaining the gossip from the source of the gossip, in my opinion, you are just as bad as the source of the gossip. And they're always the center of some type of beef or some type of just hiccup at work, but it's never their fault. It's always another person or another department's fault. One week, they're very friendly and very open to helping you and being this stellar coworker. And then the next week, it's like they despise you and they've linked up against you or linked up against someone else. And what I noticed when I was around these types of people, their energy became my energy. Meaning if they were sick, I was probably about to get sick. It was almost as if me hearing and just being a part of the environment, my energy would sync up with it and it wouldn't be for the better. And I get we all have bad days and we all have to deal with unfair situations that happen in the workplace. It was like their energy was super contagious in just not any good way. Sign number 3 is probably the most frustrating when they never, and I mean never, will take accountability for anything. It's always someone else's fault. The manager doesn't understand them. Their teammates don't support them. The system is against them type of thing. And listen, yeah, we all have bad days. And as a Black woman who works in corporate America, I definitely understand when systems aren't on your side. So I do get the reality of this situation or when some people literally can't look at themselves and say, you know what, I messed up, or I could have handled that differently. That's a huge red flag. Because if a person can't be accountable for their own actions in a work environment where you're literally paid to be accountable for your own actions, they're definitely going to make everything number four. And this one is kind of sneaky. They will weaponize your strengths for their incompetence. What I mean by that is these people aren't genuinely in need of help. They're not learning anything new. These are just the coworkers who've been doing the same job for months or even years, but still helpless, as if confused and overwhelmed whenever it's convenient for them. So a normal person who asks for help listens for your explanation and then applies what you teach them. An energy vampire asks the same question every single week because they'd rather interrupt your day than write down the right answer or figure it out themselves. They'll send you urgent messages about things that could wait until the next day, or they'll stand at your desk with a problem until you come back from the bathroom. And poofs, magically, their work now becomes your emergency. It's like, I know you're busy, but, and then suddenly you're staying late to fix something that wasn't even your responsibility to begin with. You can notice this in how they try to overcome their weak spot. If they're not making an effort to plan for this emergency because they already know where they're lacking, and they'll wait for the last minute to ask for help on projects, and then you have to volunteer to bail them out, that's an energy vampire. That's not necessarily a coworker who needs your help. This is the person who agrees to present something in tomorrow's meeting, but then at 4:58 p.m., they quickly say they need help putting the slides together. And the final sign is probably the most important one. It's the way you feel after you talk to somebody. Energy vampires usually leave you feeling emotionally exhausted, even if you don't have an emotional connection to them. They can give you anxiety and they can make you physically sick. Trust me, I've been there. And sometimes they can make you doubt yourself. And this is especially important for empaths in the workplace to try and mitigate this, because you'll have days or weeks when you've been, quote unquote, you've been busy all day, but barely got any actual work done because you've consumed all of their mental energy. And if you're watching and nodding your head right now, yep, that's actually how I feel, then you're probably dealing with an energy vampire. But don't worry, I got you. Let's talk about what we can actually do about this. First solution is to limit your exposure whenever possible. You don't have to be rude about it, but you should definitely be strategic about when and how you interact with it. Even I do this when I know I'm doing something new. I don't cling to people too much because you can definitely drain someone's energy without even having that being your intention. Take your lunch breaks at different locations, use different routes around the office whenever you can. Just be very strategic with your physical exposure to this person. And if they do catch you, keep the conversation very sweet and short. I'm a person who, and this is going to sound weird, but I think people, especially those who are spiritually and emotionally sensitive, you need to come up with a story. It could be a lie, just make it something that's short and kind of realistic that you can tell this person without feeding too much into the conversation. Second, I want you to remember your ancestors and your guides are always there to help, teach, and protect you. Our ancestors had to survive way worse drama than a workplace, and they did, by being strategic about who got access to their energy and resources. Just because y'all work together does not mean you owe somebody unlimited access to you or your peace. If necessary, ask your ancestors, those who guide, teach, and protect you, to send you the tools you need to better overcome this situation. And that's going to lead me into this final solution. Using your intuitive gifts. I can't say this enough. If you're sensitive to energy, there's nothing wrong with you. You are literally being guided by your spiritual system. It's telling you who's safe and who isn't. And how you can do this is start your day by asking your guides or your ancestors, whoever you choose to communicate with. Ask them for protection. Ask them for clarity on how to cleanse whatever energy you're picking up so that it doesn't attach to you and you don't own it. Another thing our ancestors did because our ancestors didn't have the physical support system, another thing they did was they used earth energy. They used materials found on earth in order to help them along their journey. And you can do that too. In my office space, I have black obsidian and tiger's eye. I also have a keychain that is pure jade and helps to keep me grounded. If you're a compassionate person, and I know most of y'all watching are, energy vampires are going to be attracted to you. That's just the reality of the situation. Your kindness, your light, unfortunately, it attracts darkness. That willingness to listen, your caring nature, these are all beautiful qualities, but someone will unintentionally or intentionally take advantage of them. Let me know in the comments how you deal with energy vampires at the workplace and what strategies have worked for you. And if this video helped you to identify some patterns, make sure to like and subscribe because we're at the beginning of building something great over here, and I will see you in the next video.